me put myself in the shoes of this carpenter. He was given an assignment. The mandate was quite clear. Your wife is pregnant. What? You are not the father. What? The kid is the son of God. What? I want you to take care of them. What? And it was a yes, of course. I say what, but you come to think of it, I'm not going to talk about the whats, because he did accept what the angel told him, and he accepted the assignment from the hand of God through the angel. Based on a very strong invitation card directly from an angel, very unusual, and based on his knowledge of the virtuous woman who was to become his wife, Saint Mary. So he accepts what the angel told him, and he starts following a path. Now, when someone calls me and says, hey, your wife is going to get pregnant, and she's going to have the Son of God incarnate. Wow. Wow. Where is this going to happen, God? Is it going to happen in Jerusalem? Somewhere close to the temple? And then he's dragged with his family to a very small town. Can we stay in an inn? No. It's called, well, suit yourself, Joseph. And he ends up, you know where. And I can't imagine I want you to think of exactly where they were. It's winter, probably. Probably it was winter. Though some research says no, but that's what we believe, and that's and we know that we're sure it must have been quite a stench, very bad smell. Did she have someone to help her delivering the baby? No. Come on. Even Moses, when Moses was born and Pharaoh was against all the nation, but they were still able to find help. No, she went through it. He went through it with his very young wife, through the pain, through the delivery. I'm sorry, I'm painting a very rough picture because it was rough. Bad smell. I wonder, was he ready for all the blood? I wonder, did he ever stop and say, why? It's not supposed to be this way. And that's exactly, and mind you, he was a carpenter, and carpenters are used to everything fitting. Think about the job of a carpenter. Look at the table when they join the leg with the top. It's very delicate work, and it's very accurate. He's used to this. and nothing fits. On that day, nothing fits. And I wonder what kept him going on so honestly and so strongly. And that's one quality essential for us servants of God: sense of commitment. God said, do this. Abuna Jeremiah, do this, Johanna, and do this, Joseph. We do it. We do it. It does not mean that I'm not using my brain, but my driving force is an order from the Almighty. So if Abuna called you on the phone and said, Sarah, yes, Abuna, you know, we have a Sunday school class and the servant is busy and we need to help. We need some help. We'd like you to help. Oh, Abuna, I'm not good enough. Oh, no, you're good enough. Even when you're not good enough, we tell you you're good enough. It's because we love you so much and we want to involve each one of everybody in our church. And nobody is not good enough. Everybody is fantastic. I believe that. And it's the sense of commitment. When you have doubts, the first thing that protects you and helps you, like Saint Joseph, is God told me to do that. God told me to do that. You know, sometimes we wonder, God, why did your son come in a manger? Why? I can't. I need a midwife. How come? The answer is complete obedience to God. He was obedient when the sky was beautiful and bright, and he was obedient when things were dark. He was obedient when the angels appeared to him and he was in a spiritual high. And he was obedient when he passed by the inn and he wasn't admitted and he was told, sorry, we are full boards. You're not here. He took from God the assignment, and that's it. It's not about, shall I do it or not? Please, ya habibi, please. One of the saddest moments are when a servant says, oh, Abuna, take me out of the khidmah. Why, ya habibi? Oh, I'm not getting along with X or Y, or I tried my best and couldn't. Oh, come on. Number one, God will tell you, Joseph, I'm with you. Whether your kid is going to be born, the Son of God is going to be born like you thought he would be in close to the temple, or in a small village. Nope. Please stop wondering. God cares. The danger is when there is pressure on me as a servant, I might say one very ugly thing. God doesn't care. God cares. Do I matter to God? You bet. Does he still love me like he did on when I began my path with him? Yes. That's the first thing I want to push for all of us. And believe me, it's one of the things that keep me going. It's not all about wine and roses. No, it's not. There are moments when every servant feels subdued. The first point of strength, the main source of strength, is commitment to God and knowing that God told me, hey, Joseph, you're in charge of Mary and you're in charge of a little baby and who is the Son of God. You are, each one of you is in charge of the Son of God. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, we're going to take lesson number 2 from a reading. Let me find it in the Bible. I'm going to read it. Just give me a second. You all know the story. That same day, I'm reading from St. Luke chapter 24. 2 of Jesus' followers were going to a town named Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. I want you to imagine the story. They were talking about everything that had happened. Beautiful. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near. Mind you, with Joseph, Jesus himself was there. With these 2 servants, Emmaus disciples, Jesus came near. The only reason Joseph had to believe this was the Son of God was not the splendor of the birth or a miracle that happened, like whatever. It was because God told him that's the way it is. Now, these 2 guys, it's a little bit different. They were disciples. It says it's clearly mentioned. It's clearly mentioned. They were Jesus followers, so they must have met him and seen him before. He came near and began walking with them, but they were kept from recognizing him. Then he said, what are these things you're talking about while you walk? The 2 followers stopped, looking very sad. The one named Cleopas answered, are you the only visitor in Jerusalem who does not know what just happened there? And Jesus said to them, what are you talking about? And they said, about Jesus of Nazareth. He was a prophet who said and did many powerful things before God and all the people. And did many powerful things before God and all the people. Look how much they know about him. They've seen it. But our leaders and the leading priests handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. Now listen to that statement, because that's the essence of what I'm going to talk about now. But we were hoping that he would free Israel. Please keep this passage, keep this small statement, this small sentence. But we were hoping that he would free Israel. Besides this, It is now the third day since it happened, and today some women among us amazed us, and they went to the tomb, but they did not find. And you know how the story goes. And you know how the story goes. What is the sentence I told you? Please, let's hang on to this sentence. What is it? Do you remember? They said, but we were hoping. I tell you, they could have thought of something like, he's the Son of God. And why didn't his accusers just drop dead? Why didn't they freeze? When they took him on the cross, come on, he could have just glowed. Fire could have come out of his eyes and burnt everybody around him. We were supposed now at this moment, he was supposed to be king. The Romans should have been kicked out. We have our own, we were hoping. And believe me, Habibi, believe me, my beloved, this is a huge danger. And this is why these two were lost. It happens when I have my own interpretation, my own desires, and my own expectations. Jesus had a path, and he followed it, and they followed him as long as he performed miracles, fed multitudes. But suddenly, we were hoping they wanted a different outcome. They wanted a change in one of the steps. Their dreams were crushed. I can give you examples. I'm part of a service, and I assume that I'm surrounded by angels. And I assume that it's a culture of 100% love. I will not accept that there's a Judas. There was a Judas, one of the 12. I'm not saying that there is a Judas between us. No, thank God. But sometimes we put our own agenda, our hopes, our desires higher above the will of God. And mind you, in terms of faith, they had the story. And today some women among us amazed us. That's what they said in Luke 24. I think it's around verse 22. Let me find. Yes. They went to the tomb, but they did not find his body. Sometimes when we read the scriptures, we can't always tell what tone these words were spoken, how they were spoken. Maybe what they were saying, it's not bad enough that Jesus was killed. Now, some grave robbers have taken the body and they have duped some of our friends. Maybe they were disbelief. They couldn't believe the fact that someone was dead and just resurrected. They were not about to believe the woman. Their brains their brains, sometimes my brain. You know, it's like, you fool me once, shame on you, but you fool me twice, shame on me. I believed you, Jesus, and I saw you performing miracles, and I believed that you are the King of Israel. But then you're killed, and then you're dead. Shame on me. No, I won't be fooled. Come on, he's resurrected. I'm not going to be fooled. I really don't know why they said all that. But thank God, you know, I mean, we know the outcome. Don't worry. We know the outcome. It's a common reaction when we are hurt by love. And we decided, that's it, I'm not going to love. A promise has been violated. This man has promised us. لما دخلت الخدمة, I was promised and I expected this and that. I was hoping. Careful. When we are hurt and we have some bitterness and blame in our service, when you get close to that line, please, I beg you, I beg you, I beg you, I beg you, don't cross it. Step back, step back. Don't nurse your hurt like these two disciples of Emmaus. And I'll tell you why. All we have to do is look at what Jesus did with them. First of all, he came to them. It's worth repeating. The Bible says it clearly. He came to them. Trust that the Lord will come to you personally. Personally. I can think of, if I had to deal with a problem like that, I'll say, oh, they're so difficult, so hard to please. Come on, let them go and see that the tomb is empty. Let them hear the story that an angel came and removed that huge rock on the tomb. No, Jesus came to them. He comes to us. He meets us at our point of pain. He comes to us. And though he had already destroyed death, and he has annulled still, but Jesus never retires. Never. Never. Jesus will never let go of me. The Lord will never let go of us. And the resurrected Lord, and this is a very interesting point, that the resurrected Lord did not go directly to heaven. He wrapped himself again in the flesh. Look at this point. On a philosophical note, the scenario could have been, that's it, he came out of the dead, came out of the tomb, and someone could have seen him ascending. No, he took the flesh again. He put on human clothes again. He ate with his disciples again. And he started looking out into our hurting hearts again. He is looking into two hurting, aching servants of his. So number one, he came to them and he said, what are you talking about? And he got the confession he wanted. We are talking about Jesus of Nazareth. Keep on repeating it. Keep on repeating it. Guys, when you have problems, when you have doubts, keep on repeating his name. The Lord Jesus. The Lord Jesus. They were good disciples. They had good hearts. And I'm sure they had very good, strong prayers. And I'm sure they had a strong church. I'm sure they had a good, beautiful service like yours. They just had the wrong expectations. Let me tell you something. I'm going to imagine a little story. No, I'm not going to imagine it. I read it somewhere. No, I read it somewhere. There's that lovely girl, 6 or 7 years old, and she goes to her dad and she says, "Dad, what do you do? What's your job?" And he starts explaining to her. He says, "Sweetie, I work in computers," and he tried to simplify the whole thing. And she said, "Okay." And he said, "Sweetie, that's a beautiful job. Are you proud of me?" And she said, "Of course, Daddy, I love you very much. But I wish you had a different job." And he says, "Honey, what would you like me to do?" And she said, "Dad, I would like you to sell ice cream. I hope you would sell ice creams. It's tasty." She wanted her dad to have an ice cream shop. It makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. We have expectations. And disappointment is caused by expectations that are not met. I don't want any of the servants يا أحبائي مش عايز حد يعيش في disappointment. How did Jesus cure it? Well, the book says it. Let's go back to the Bible and see what he did with this. Do you remember what he did? Remember what he did, guys? Then Jesus said to them, "You are foolish and slow to believe everything the prophet said. They said that the Christ must suffer these things before he enters his glory." Then starting with what Moses and all the prophets has said about him, Jesus began to explain everything that had been written about himself in the scriptures. He opened his Bible. When you have moments where your expectations are not met, make sure that your expectations are okay. And there is no other way but the Bible. Servants minus Bible, disciples of Emmaus before Christ came to them, lost in spite of all what they had seen and heard and believed. We have to have a close relationship. The only way, the cure for disappointment, go back to the story. Read it again and again and again. Because you might read a passage that would tell you, "Hey, my beautiful servant, you're weeping today. You're not the first one to weep. What ya habibi, what ya habib, you've been betrayed. You're not the first one to be betrayed. I was betrayed." The challenge is too big. Read the Bible. And do we know that you can cross the Red Sea with Moses? You can cross the Jordan River. Are your wounds very deep? Don't worry. Don't worry. Did your brother betray you? Don't worry. Don't worry. They can do a lot. They can do a lot. I can do more. I can take you to Egypt where you'll become a big head. And you'll be able to serve them. Joseph served those who did not serve him. That's you. When you stick to the Bible. Before I lament and complain, and believe me, I'm a permanent complainer. But I've learned the hard way. And that's what Abu Nabshoy Kamel used to tell us. خادم زائد كتاب مقدس. Check mark. خادم ناقص كتاب مقدس. X. باختصار كده. So mainly we spoke about two things. Number one, Saint Joseph. And when there are